Hello there, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of The Sara Show. Today's episode is all about how to be good at everything. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Sara, what are you on about? Who are you to tell people how to be good at everything? And you'd be absolutely right. And this is in no way a claim that I'm good at everything, as it is very clear to see, This podcast is all about my journey. Oh, hi, by the way, if you're new here. My name is Sara. I'm a medical doctor turned actress, and I started this podcast, The Sara Show, mainly to talk about my journey from being a medical doctor to being a full-time actress. And it's really fun. There's so much that I'm learning, and I just wanted to share while I was on the journey. So it's very much an audio video diary discussing things as I learn them and sharing them with you guys. And I'm really excited. I love this podcast and I really appreciate you tuning in. So back to what makes me qualified to talk about this. Well, I think that I'm learning quite a lot about how to improve your skills in new areas. And a lot of the stuff is very obvious. Some of it you will have heard before, but I think it's really funny how we have to relearn the same thing over and over again. And for me, at a time in my life where I'm changing careers, so many things that I thought I already had a grip on, I'm realizing, oh no, baby girl, that really matters and you need to work on that more. So in today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how you can learn to be good at pretty much most things, despite what talent you think you were born with. And the truth that talent is kind of irrelevant for success in most things. Like when you're a kid, talent seems really, really important. But as an adult who finds success in any field, talent really does take a back seat. It really does. The things that matter more are the things that I'm going to talk about in this video. Or in this podcast rather, soz, because I know some of you are listening on audio. So starting with the story that triggered me to want to do this episode. The other day, I was on my Instagram. If you're not following me, come join me on there at Dr. Sara Otung. I was on my Instagram and I've been to the gym, and I haven't had a gym membership for about 4 or 5 months. I decided to cancel it because I was trying to save money, put as much of my money as I can into acting, into my writing, into getting my play on its feet, all of that jazz. So I didn't have a gym membership for quite a few months, and I was doing like home workouts. I've got this like gym in my building, which is it's one of those. It's like a hotel gym. You wouldn't really, anyone who goes to the gym would not count that as a gym. But, I had that for backup if I wanted to use a treadmill. But mainly I was doing home workouts and going for a run in my area. Until a few weeks ago, I was like, do you know what? My body thrives on weightlifting. I've done weightlifting for so many years now, since I was about 14. And I just know that my body feels better. I love the muscular body composition and how easily I maintain that when I'm weightlifting. So I thought, this is a worth it investment. I'll just rejoin a gym. So I rejoined the gym and I do a few sessions. I do a few lifting sessions, and then I haven't been in any way particularly consistent. I've not got a program that I'm sticking to at the moment. I'm just back in the rhythm of what I used to do. And one of those things that I used to do was deadlifting. And so this one day I'm deadlifting and I'm like, let me try and deadlift a little bit heavier today. So I go to the bar and I do a few warm-up lifts, and then I load on 130 kilograms. How much that is in pounds, I don't know. You'd have to ask Google. But I load the bar up to 130 kilograms. Now, back in the day, my personal best for deadlifting, I think it was it 160, I think? 160 for 1 rep max. And so 130 used to be quite a comfortable, like I would rep that for a good 8 to 10 reps. 3 or 4 sets. It was a fairly comfortable weight for me, but it's been a while. So I lift this 130 and I do like maybe 4 reps of it. And as I finished, I just thought, oh, that's quite cool. I'm quite happy with that, because at the end of the day, 130 kilograms is a lot for a 5'3" woman to lift. That is a lot to lift. And I started thinking about how when I was younger, I used to be quite self-conscious about how strong I was. And, I sometimes got made fun of for being muscular. But now, as a woman, I love being strong. I really, really enjoy being strong. And I know that my body is beautiful. I know that muscles are beautiful. And I'm so much more comfortable in the fact that I am quite strong, and I actually quite enjoy when people are looking, they're looking as I'm lifting this weight. And I'm like, yeah, this is calm for me. I enjoy that. And so to have gone from the contrast of being super self-conscious as a teenage girl to being like, yup, don't mess with me. You can leave the weights on because that's my warm-up weight as a grown woman. I enjoyed that. So, I was just feeling myself a bit. So I got my phone out. And to be fair, I do record my reps just to see my form, to check that I'm doing the exercise as well. So I recorded a few of the reps and I posted them on Instagram with the caption of, I actually love being strong right now. I just did 130 kg and I'm, that's not my best, but it's quite a good start. I've just got back to the gym and I'm already shifting some decent weight. And I had a few responses to that story and, a few friends saying, oh, wow, that's great. Well done. And I did have a response from someone who I really admire, a brilliant writer, just saying how great it was that I lifted that. And I was like, wow, thank you. And something I thought in my head when I saw that message was, do you want to swap my lifting skills for your writing skills? Because for me at this moment, I'm at the point where I am writing a play, or I've written a play, I'm almost finished with it. I've been writing it for a while. It's a one-woman play called Schmedic, and I'm looking to put it on. And a couple of days before my deadlifting session, I'd received a notification from Actors East for me to collaborate on a post with them. So on Instagram, if someone posts something, they can give you the offer to also post that thing to your page. And this post was advertising a scene night. So a night where different writers and actors will come together and perform 10 minutes of their play, of their new writing. And they had tagged me in that post because I will be performing at this scene night. I decided to pitch my idea to them and I got a slot to perform at this scene night. And it will be the first time that I have ever performed a script that I've written on stage in front of an audience, in front of people I don't know. And I feel really nervous about it. And so a couple of days before this deadlift session, I'd got this notification from the theatre company. And I looked at it and I thought, absolutely not. And I thought in my head, like, no. If this goes on my page, people will see it and like people will get tickets and then they will come and they will see my writing. And what if like a lot of my new Instagram followers see it? And what if some of them come? Because since I had this video go viral, so I did a video about going from medicine to acting. It went viral. And honestly, that's what led to me creating this podcast, because so many people were asking me questions and I was like, I can't answer all these comments. Let me just make a podcast so I can just talk about all the different details. This video went viral. My follower count went up by about 9,000 people, and I get lots of comments and likes each day, which is so cool. It's so nice. I love that. But if you actually deep it, if you think about, I know that we live in a world where people have hundreds of millions of followers, and that's wonderful. But if you think about it, if you think about the fact that little old Sara from the Valleys has 9,000 people following her Instagram account, that's kind of insane. In fact, I think I have like 20,000 people, but 9,000 new followers, it's just a number that feels a bit too much to comprehend. So I start overthinking that when I see this request to collaborate on the theatre's post and have that advert of the scene night that I will be performing my own writing at, to have that be shown to up to 20,000 people. I think absolutely not. And I don't accept it. I did not accept that request for about 36 hours, until a couple of days later when I'm doing this deadlift session and I post the deadlift session. I say how proud I am that I can lift so much, and I get compliments from friends and people on my Instagram, and I enjoy those compliments. And one of those compliments is from someone who I would love to be able to write as well as. And I realized something in that moment. This amazing, accomplished artist has complimented my deadlift skills. And I deserved that compliment. And I can say that so comfortably and so confidently because I'm someone who has been lifting for about 17 years. I'm very comfortable in a gym. I'm so comfortable in a gym. I could walk into a gym and I could face plant and I could roll over and everyone could look and laugh, and I would get up, laugh along and carry on with my session, because it would take a lot to intimidate me in that space. And the reason for that is because I've been walking into that space fairly consistently, on and off, but fairly consistently for about 17 years. And the sudden contrast I had, where I received this compliment from this amazing artist, from this accomplished artist, and I thought to myself, do you want to swap my deadlift skills for your writing skills? And I didn't say that to them because I thought that's a weird thing to say. Let me just accept the compliment. But I thought about it and I laughed. And I suddenly realized, I had this like aha moment, this epiphany moment. I was like, the reason why I've been so afraid to accept this post on my Instagram feed, the reason why I've been so scared to showcase my new writing, is because when it comes to writing, I am just like someone who is new at a gym. I'm new to writing. This will be my first time performing a script that I have written, and it feels terrifying. It is not a space that I'm comfortable in. And I started thinking about what I would say to someone who wanted to get into deadlifting. Now, just to give you some more context, I used to be a sprint hurdler for Wales. I did pentathlon, heptathlon. So I was a junior athlete. I was an international athlete. I won the British Championships as a junior. I broke a few championship records here and there for my country, and I really loved it. It was a huge part of my life. Then when I went to university, I started a fitness society and I would coach. We had like almost 200 women sign up. I would lead the sessions, I would coach them. I then, after uni, went on to towards the end of uni, my final 4th and 5th year, I decided to start a YouTube channel where I would make fitness videos, and I had my own little Jane Fonda-esque corner of YouTube, and we would do workouts together. And that grew to about 40,000 subscribers. I wrote programs and I sold programs. I qualified as a fitness coach, and I would do online coaching with people, and I loved it. And so I say all that to say, I have coached people who have been new to the gym, who have been new to working out, and I feel fairly comfortable and confident doing that. If someone were to come up to me and say, hey, I'm new to the gym, I just want to get in good shape, I would be pretty good at telling them what they need to do and encouraging them and leading them along that journey. And it made me realize that the people who were messaging me saying, wow, that was a really heavy deadlift, I couldn't deadlift like that, how do you do that? My response to them as I was reading those comments was so quick and automatic in my head. I was thinking, well, of course, I've been doing this for 17 years. You've just started. Of course, you're lifting 20 kg or 40 kg or 60 kg. Of course you are. You've only been doing it for like a year. Don't worry, just keep going. I wasn't lifting 130 kg in my first year of lifting. I was nowhere near that it takes time, and just keep going, enjoying it, and you'll get stronger and your body will get stronger over time. And eventually you might even build this level of maintenance where you can not do it for a while and you come back in and you enter back in at a fairly high level because of all of the years of training and commitment that you've put in beforehand. And that speech was kind of rolling through the subconscious parts of my brain as I read these compliments from my wonderful, kind community of internet friends on Instagram. And then I had this juxtapositioning of my kindness towards someone who was new to deadlifting and my absolute shamefully shaming attitude towards myself where I'm new to writing. I've put this light on, you guys, and I'm just going to adjust it because it's a little yellow. There we go. My lack of kindness to myself when I'm new to writing. And I kind of thought to myself, Sarah, what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? You're being so mean to yourself. Because it was so easy to see, right? If someone is new to the gym, if they're new to deadlifting and they're nervous about it, if my response as a coach is to say to them, oh yeah, you're probably not very good, or to over critique them, or to say, oh, you only lifted 40 kg, you better quit, you're probably not that good. That wouldn't be the sign that they weren't very good at lifting. It would be a sign that I was a terrible coach. And yet with my writing, I was trying to say, like, to myself, if this isn't amazing, you better stop. It's going to show that you're a crappy writer. What if people come to your show and they're like, oh, this is the girl that dropped out of being a doctor in order to be an actress. Goodness me, let's hope she goes back to medicine. if I'm being so cruel to myself where I'm new to this one thing, I'm not giving myself the chance to put in those years and to build up that level of skill and familiarity to the point where I could walk on stage, trip, fall over, stand up and carry on with the level of confidence that I would do at the gym. And so I say all that to say, this is my video, this is my podcast about how to be good at everything. Because as I was meditating on this and thinking about this, I realized that being good at stuff is not that complicated. It's not that hard. When it comes to weightlifting, yes, I have natural talents and a natural ability, but the reason I can lift so much is not because of that natural ability. It is because of the 17 years of consistent, I say consistent, there was definitely times I've had months off, even a year or two off here and there between med school and all that jazz, but fairly consistent weightlifting. It has been from learning and relearning and working on my technique and strengthening my muscles and increasing my mobility. There has been so much work that has gone into that. And so when it comes to writing, what I'm deciding to do is to follow the steps that I'm going to share with you about how to get good at something, because the truth is, it doesn't really matter if I'm that talented at writing, which sounds like heresy, right? You want to find your talent, we sometimes say, but I don't think that is as relevant in adult life. I think what you need to do is to choose what you're going to in the future appear to be talented at. And the truth is, you might have had a bit of talent here and there, but what will give other people the impression of talent, as it did with my weightlifting, will be years of consistency and work. And so I say that to say, in the end, I did accept to collaborate on that post, and I will be performing 10 minutes of my new play at this scene night, and I will be opening myself up to other people's thoughts and opinions. I will be allowing them to see my work and making myself vulnerable in that way, in the same way as someone who is new to working out takes that brave step and walks into the gym where they might be seen, where someone could look at them and judge them and think things about them. I'm choosing to do that with my writing because I believe it's necessary. I believe it's time for me to take that step, to put the writing on its feet, because I really believe in this show. I believe in the story. I believe that it could be something, and I can't live in fear of failure anymore. I need to just get the show on. And the only way to do that is to get the show on. The only way to be an actress, to be a writer, is to write and to act. And so that is what I'm choosing to do. And so yeah, I'm going to be starting, well, I've already started my journey of putting in that 17 years of writing and acting and putting on shows and creating stories. I'm starting that, and I'm sharing that publicly. And what I want to say is that it's not about me getting the equivalent of a 130 kg deadlift on my first ever showing. It might be that after that showing, some people love it. It might be that some people hate it. It might be that some people find it completely forgettable. That doesn't matter. What I need to do is to write, to try, and to reflect and improve and keep on going and being consistent. And so what I want to talk about then today on how to be good at things is that there are 4 parts of it, I believe, in my life that I've seen so far. And what's funny is we do these 4 things very naturally as children. And the reason why this is so important to relearn if you're an adult who's entering a new field is because we don't tend to give that level of grace to other adults. We definitely do not tend to give that level of grace to ourselves as adults in order to become good at things. For many of us, most of the things that we consider ourselves to be good at are things that we started during some phase of childhood or adolescence, or during a phase of life where there was a low level of expectation. It's a different challenge, I believe, to become good at something as an adult, because we actually have to relearn the system, because the system for becoming good at something is not necessarily always there for you. Sometimes there can be a certain level of ego, expectation, financial pressure that can lead us to not allow ourselves to follow these very basic, very rough 4 steps. By the way, you guys, these are 4 steps I wrote down off the top of my head after I've been thinking about it for myself. So, if you have any other thoughts, please feel free to add them. But I'll just go through the 4 steps now. And with the mind that we do this for children all the time, I, as a child, was allowed to go through these 4 steps. I was encouraged to. As an adult, I have been discouraged actually from going through these 4 steps in order to learn how to be good at acting, how to be good at writing. Often we are discouraged from starting new things as an adult because of the responsibilities that we often have. And it's a real shame because if you don't take the time to go through these 4 steps, you may never be good at something. And we can try something new as an adult, and then when we're not good at it, we're like, well, I'm just not talented enough. And it's like, you did not give yourself these 4 steps. So why would you expect to be good at that thing? If someone's going in for the first time deadlifting, having not done these 4 steps, why would they expect to lift 130 kg? Me going in for my first time putting on my play or putting on a piece of my play, why am I expecting for it to be some groundbreaking thing when I haven't gone through these 4 steps yet? So here are the 4 steps without further ado. Number 1, learn something new. You got to learn, whether it is doing classes, whether it's online, whether it's watching videos, whatever it is you want to do, you have to study and learn, which means I once heard that the most dangerous thing you can say is I know, because that closes the door to new information. I also once heard that one of the best identities you can choose to adopt as an adult is the identity of that of a learner, because then you can constantly be open to new information and you don't box yourself in. So learning something new, it does require a certain level of humility, because you're accepting that someone else knows more than you. So I do this class, this acting class. It is an amazing group of people. And honestly, in my mind, I'm going to be doing that class until the teacher kicks me out, because I'm like, there's always something new to learn. Like I want to consistently learn how to act. I don't care how much success I have, I will still be doing acting lessons because there's always something new to learn. It was Meisner who said it takes like 30 years to become an actor. So step 1 is to learn something new. So if you're learning how to braid hair, learn, schedule in time. One thing I'm creating for myself at the moment, I was homeschooled when I was a child and I loved it. Best school I ever went to. I could rant about the benefits of homeschool for years if people would let me. So many misconceptions about it. I honestly think if you can do it well, it can be the most amazing thing for children. But anyway, I was homeschooled for a couple of years, and recently I was like, I need to homeschool myself. I need to make a timetable of when I have which subjects, when I've got my singing days, when I've got my guitar days, when I've got my writing days, when I've got my this, when I've got my that. I need to homeschool myself. So scheduling time to learn these things. We live in a world where we have so much access to information that sometimes it can be overwhelming. So writing down when and where you're going to learn different things. So Tuesday at 8 p.m, I am going to read my book on how to write a play for 1 hour. That can be part of your homeschool timetable. So learning something new and always choosing to learn from someone who has more experience than you is really good. You can learn from anyone, but especially when you're new to something, going to someone who knows how to teach you how to deadlift, who knows the right technique, who has a history of producing good students, is a good place to start. So number 1 is to learn. Number 2 is to try it. So many people have lived and slept a life of watching but never doing. So you can watch all of the videos about deadlifting. You can know how to grip the bar. You can know how to, get the chalk on your hands. You can know how to brace your abdomen, squeeze your abdominals, get your anterior pelvic tilt. You can know how to contract your legs. You can read the theory on all of that. But until you get up and do it, you'll not get any better at deadlifting. Theory is one thing, which is so great about acting, because you can read all the theory. There's a book that I have by Stella Alder, and it's so good. And I'll be like listening to this Audible book, and I'm on the tube listening to this, and I'm like, I need to do these things. Like theory is not going to actually give me the results. I need to put this on its feet and try and practice. So yes, you can study, you can read the books, but you actually have to do the things. You can read how to do math equations, but you actually have to take a math equation and do the math equation. Put yourself out there, try it. So for me, I can read about how to write an amazing play. I can read all the theory, I can read all the praise, but until I sit down and write my play, faith without works is dead. That's a Bible verse. Wisdom. Faith without works is dead. You can have all the knowledge, but if you don't do it, it doesn't mean ish. I'm so biased towards action because I think we learn so much from it. So all of this learning, all of this theorizing, all of that, you need to get up on your feet and do the thing, whether it's braiding hair, whether it is driving, whether it is, obviously do it safely, driving with an instructor, with insurance, with a provisional license, all of that jazz. Whether we are learning how to act, whether we're learning how to write, run, sprint, whatever it is, you have to actually physically do the thing. Okay, number 3 is to fail and reflect and retry, which is kind of 3 things, but I kind of just wrote fail and retry. There's a whole book on this, one of the best books I've ever been recommended, which is called Failing Forward, and it talks about the cycle of failure and how successful people fail a lot and they fail often, and they follow the cycle of failing, learning from it, adjusting things and retrying. So that's what number 3 is. It's all about failure. So say if you've done the theory of, this is the theory of how I write a play. Now I'm going to write my play, then I'm going to put the thing up on its feet, and it's going to fail in some way. It will always fail in some way. It might be the biggest success, but there will always be things that you can learn and improve on. So even if it is a success, there's still something that you can learn from putting it on its feet, right? So I'm going to do my play or a section of my play at this theatre night. And I'm going to come away from that and I'm going to reflect. I'm going to reflect and I'm going to see what I can improve, what I can tweak. Did I get the responses from the audience that I wanted? Was I clear? Did it communicate? What was their understanding of the character? What was their impression of the storytelling and the way that we use the visuals and the sound and the props? What was their understanding? And how can I better improve my communication as a writer and as an actress of this story? So that is number 3. If we put that in a deadlift example, you go out, you try to pick up the deadlift, and maybe your back doesn't stay locked in the way it's supposed to. You let go of that weight. You let that be a failed lift. You don't hurt your back when you're deadlifting, okay? We protect the back. You let that weight go and you reflect. You're like, okay, is this weight a bit too heavy? Do I need to work on my form a bit more? Do I need to strengthen my core? How were my feet? Was my weight through my heels? Do I need to try maybe a new setup, a different bar grip? Inside of the legs instead of outside of the legs? Do I need to reduce the weight and go back to a lower weight until my form is more stable and better? Do I need a belt? Do I need some lifting shoes? You look at what you've done, the reason that you failed that lift, you make adjustments, and then you retry. Okay, so that is number 3, fail and retry. And number 4 is probably the most annoying one of all, because for me, patience is something that I struggled with and I didn't really want to learn. Everyone would say patience was a virtue and I was like, oh, you could just hurry up. I really never wanted to develop patience. I always just thought, this is boring. Let's just get it done. Let's do it already. Like, life is short. Let's live life. But the truth is, things take time. Things just take time. Like, even if you had the most perfect training plan for how to get absolutely dense and deadlift 300 kilograms, it would still take time. There are laws of science. There are laws about how your body works, how your body builds muscle. Your body needs time to eat food, to digest it, to build the muscle, for the muscle to rest and recover after working out. All of those things take time. So number 4 is time. You just have to keep learning, trying, failing, adjusting, and retrying. And you have to keep doing that for 20 years, no matter what it is, whether it's hair braiding. If you see someone who's braiding hair and they're doing the absolute most, they've probably been doing it for quite a while. If you see someone lifting loads and they're doing amazing, probably been doing it for quite a while. We admire people. We see people blow up. Someone whose story I've been loving being able to like watch in hindsight is Doechii, the rapper who just won the album of the year at the Grammys. Oh my goodness, she documented her story online. It's amazing. It's inspiring. but someone might see her and say, oh, she's blown up overnight, but it wasn't overnight. It's over like the last 10, 15 years of honing her art, finding her voice, and she's documented all of this for people to see on YouTube. She's left those videos up. It is amazing. I highly recommend that you go and check it out. And I'm benefiting from that as well. It's been really good to watch her journey and see her artistic development. But yeah, I think sometimes we see the result, we see where someone's gotten to, and we say, oh my gosh, they blew up, and we think it's happened really quickly, but it actually really hasn't. Like even for when you're changing careers as an adult as well, it might be that when you go into an area that you are passionate about, that you really feel called to, it might be that you see bits of success quite quickly, and people will say, oh my goodness, that was really sudden, that happened really quickly. But actually, often you'll find that the things that you had been doing that were from your different career have actually trained you really well for this new career. So for me, there are so many times where I'm working on something to do with acting, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I already know how to do this because of YouTube. I absolutely already know how to set up these different things, how to record a voiceover, how to edit it, how to do this and that, because of that show that I did with the BBC, or different elements that I've done in the past, which you would never think were building towards it. And actually medicine in itself, to be honest, one thing you'll learn to do as a doctor is to be confident, be focused, to hold your nerve. And those are things which are really beneficial to be able to do as an actress. And so sometimes some bits of it might seem like they come quite quickly, but if you actually look at the detail of it, it's been building over the last 15 years, just in different ways that we hadn't acknowledged at the time. And so, yeah, it's pretty simple. How to be good at anything. I think that you can definitely apply that framework to so many different areas of your life, whatever it is that you want to be good at. And it's something that I want to apply to acting and to writing and to telling stories and to this podcast. And the main thing that I probably struggle a bit more with is just, deciding to do this, committing to it, and not being harsh on myself, not judging myself too early. And so, yeah, I'm really glad I decided to flex on the gram and post that deadlifting video, because it really helped me to think about what I'm doing and what I am, the way that I'm treating myself and speaking to myself in my acting career. Why am I expecting a 17-year experience result when I've only got 2 or 3 years experience? So I hope that that's helped. I hope that whatever it is that you're trying to improve in, that you find encouragement and strength with this, and that you don't judge yourself too early. Don't say, oh, I'm just not talented. Like, babes, has it been 20 years? And even if it's been 20 years, has it been 40 years? If this is what you want to do, like, truly stick with things. Sometimes when I'm talking about acting, I just tell myself, well, I'll give it as much time as I gave medicine. And goodness me, I gave medicine a lot of time. I've given medicine a lot of time in my life. So just be gracious to yourself and just know that someone who's good at something is because they've done this. And the fact that you're not yet good at something might mean that you just need more of one of these areas. More knowledge, so more learning, stage 1. Maybe you need to fail more. Maybe you're not trying new things enough. Maybe you're not trying new angles, and you need to allow yourself to try and fail more. Maybe you need more time. I think for many of us, we just need more time. So join me, if you will, in giving yourself the gift of grace, the gift of believing in yourself and allowing yourself to be a human. Just treat yourself like a budding young student. How would you encourage yourself? That's what I'm going to try and do anyway. And speaking of which, I need to do some writing. So literally will be doing this scene in a few days, and I'm very excited. Still feeling the nerves, and I think that is okay. I think that's absolutely okay. It just shows that I care, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm so grateful to God for the lessons that I'm learning and the wonderful support that you all have shown me and the encouragement. And I have some really, really, really exciting news, which is that my show, my first debut play show, will be on in a few months. And I'll have more information about that very soon. And even that, I can feel the I can feel the nerves inside of me, but I love it. And I'm so grateful to God to be able to pursue this art form and this creativity. And it's such a beautiful journey. And to be able to share this with you guys, I'm super, super grateful. So I'm going to stop talking because it's crazy. I literally look at the time and it's been like 33 minutes. You guys, I do just love a chat. I love a chat. Thank you for listening. If you've liked this episode, please leave me a comment, share it with a friend, rate this podcast highly if you may on whatever platform that you listen to it on, because it means that the platform will suggest it to more people, which will be great. I love that, love that, love that. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video, in my next podcast. I keep forgetting because I'm filming, looking at a camera, I keep saying video, but some of you will just be listening to this. So if you're just listening, thank you. I will see you again soon. Bye.